Here we go then. The very last round of Season 6 and 4 points in it in the battle for the World Championship. In the most dramatic, chaotic, amazing season, the title race comes down to the nail-biting finale as defending champion Vapor Canute looks like champion Vapor Trench. It is the most tantalising of endings to what has been a tale fit for a Hollywood blockbuster over the last 10 weeks. And it's all about to be decided in the 10th and final round here in Season 6. We arrive then 21 miles south of Manamah to the desert of Sakia and the 5.4-kilometre Bahrain International Circuit as a crazy title race comes down to the wire. The race victory will secure the championship for either driver. If Trench finishes ahead of Canute, the reigning champion must finish within 4 points of him to successfully secure his title crown. And of course, if Trench finishes behind Canute or fails to score, then Canute is the two-time champion and our Season 6 winner. So let's get going. The Bahrain Grand Prix, which recently hosted 2 races in Formula 1 towards the end of the calendar, is the host to what will hopefully be an incredible championship decider here between 2 fantastic racers, 2 brilliant drivers, and hopefully we'll be seeing a clean race in which both of them, and of course the rest of our field, provide the same level of excitement that we were able to witness in Austria last time out. Brown then out onto the circuit in the Alpha Tauri, and it's a pretty important day for him as well, because he is one of those who is in danger of being relegated, essentially. There are 24 points between Vapor King in P12 and Fashion in P19 in the championship. P19 is the first of the 3 relegation places. Morgan, Cobalt, James, Kasu, this man Brown, and Ferrari's Elian sit between them. Lord of Lamb Buttons back up behind all 9 of them. Threat of relegation by the end of this evening's action. Elian, we are expected to join us a little bit later on in the session, so don't worry too much about not seeing him just yet. Buttons back will not be joining us tonight, so his relegation to Division 2 has been confirmed. Matt's in the chat. He says, let's go Trench. Hi, Matt. Good to see you. 4 points behind the leader, Vapor Canute, coming into this round. Been one of the most consistent performers throughout Season 6 has Vapor Trench. It's frankly been an amazing season for him. 5 podiums in the 9 races that we've had so far. So he's been a standout as the McLaren driver, but just these last couple of races haven't gone his way in the slightest. Vapor Canute's won both of them after his very cruel misfortune at the end of the Australian Grand Prix. Also lost the win in Monaco and China. And there have been several points for Vapor Canute, with 7 points finishes so far this season, where we've just kind of thought, has he lost the championship? But he's clawed it back. And in the last 2 races, his championship assault and his attempt to retain his championship have really taken a massive boost as Brown catches the back end on the exit of turn 10, opens up the DRS on the run now towards the quick turn 11 before climbing up the hill through the flat out 12. The Williams of Cobalt is also out there as makes his way down towards the final corner. Well, Cobalt, as I mentioned, one of those drivers who isn't quite safe just yet from the drop. And there is Brown in towards the final corner himself as Cobalt 126.8, the first lap of the session. Brown 127.1, 3/10 slower than Cobalt, who was on the medium tyres. So a good lap from him as JT in the Red Bull, pole sitter last time in Austria, sets a 1 minute 25.3. That was his 3rd pole position of the season last week. Let's see if he can make it 4 this time around. Vapor Canute round the final corner, up towards the line for him. Massive qualifying session this. It's only P4 on the mediums. Canute does tend to set his banker lap on the medium tyres. So 129.9 this time, so really not a good lap at all there from the Ferrari driver. So possibly just a second install lap for him before going out on another run. There's Sam, missed the last round in Austria. He's had 6 finishes in the points so far this season. Out-qualified his teammate Bazooka Joe. Tell a lie, actually, because he had he's had a couple of reserve teammates as well. But he's out-qualified a teammate 6 times and out-raced a teammate 3 times as well. Bazooka Joe has out-raced a teammate 5 times this season, including Morgan last time out. Sam goes P4, minute 26.9 from him. Lorna Lamb is into P3 with 125.9, and Jack Prentice 125.8. And Brown is out of the session, so I presume he's been pushing somewhere and has ended up crashing out of qualifying, I would wager. Here's Vapor Trench in the McLaren, so well, that's not good for Brown at all, is it? Because he'll probably end up right down towards the bottom of the order. Not particularly what he needs coming into the last race of the season, but yeah, we'll see who else joins and who else is actually not with us tonight, because it could be that Brown still survives the drop. He is outside of the relegation zone now. Fashion, Lorna Lamb and Buttons Back are in the drop zone at the moment. Vapor Trench crosses the line and goes P2, 1 minute 25.4. Advantage Trench then in the championship battle. And if qualifying were to finish this way and the race were to finish this way, Trench would be crowned the new champion. Canute must finish but within 4 points of Trench this evening. And the reason he's allowed to finish 4 points behind him, let's say, as Vapor King sits one at 28.5 in the Haas. The reason for that is because Canute has won 2 races, and Vapor Trench, who has brought this title race to the very last race of the season, hasn't actually won a race yet. It's been a season of consistent podium finishes, consistent points finishes, but no victories just yet. And well, doubtless he'll be looking at races like Singapore. He wasn't going to win, but he was going to finish on the podium. A last lap puncture cost him the podium, and incidentally gave Canute that podium place in round number 2. That seems a very, very long time ago now. But it'll also feel all too recent if Vapor Trench turns out not to be the champion after this evening of action. We will see. Vapor Canute is back in the pits after his run, so of course he will be going out again. Here, Owen Rock has him far. It wasn't pun, but it wasn't intentional. I didn't. He's got podium far in his first 5 races in the Formula PlayStation League. 1 victory as well to his name. It's been so impressive so far. He's finished in the point all 5 of his appearances as well, as he crosses the line here and sets a 1:26.2 to go 5th fastest in the Haas. Gets ahead of Cobalt, who is relatively safe, but certainly will be looking for a decent points finish to rescue himself from the jaws of the possibility of relegation, shall we say, tonight. He's only scored points on 3 occasions this season. He's got 1 DNF. And whilst he did finish the race on the podium last time, that was taken away from him by virtue of a penalty. So it was a bit of a mad race, really, in Austria, to say the least. Disconnections, wet weather, all sorts going on. Vapor Canute disconnected from the session, and we all thought he wasn't going to win the race. He came after that. A late safety car as well, playing havoc with the end of the Grand Prix. TB get to set a lap, and he was potentially on with a shout of a podium before a last lap lunge cost him any chance of that, and he was already going to exit the title race anyway. But that just made sure of it. He went out in style, shall we say. But still not what he would have wanted as shape in the racing point. Brings his car across the line and goes P3. 1 minute 25.6 from him. A couple of tenths slower than Vapor Trench. Very good lap there from Shea. As Cobalt rises up to P3. 1 minute 25.6 from him. The third place finish would certainly secure his place in Division 1 for Season 7, which starts in January. TDB has had his lap invalidated, so we'll have to go around again to try and set another one. Relatively difficult here to get a lap invalidated, so it's always an impressive effort when somebody manages to do it. That wasn't a roast. Yeah. Sorry, TDB. That's probably just how it came out. But he started again. He will come round and try this time to keep the car on the track. Out there on the yellow wall medium tyres at the moment is TDB. A reminder that in a short qualifying session such as this one, you start on the tyres that you qualify on as long as you qualify. Oh, as he spins into the wall and ruins that attempt as well, the TDB. You start the race on the tyres you qualify on if you start in the top 10. At the moment, TDB is struggling to get near the top 10. He's not set a lap yet, and it doesn't look as though he's going to do so for a while. One lap invalidated, one lap in the wall thus far for the Renault driver. So not the prettiest start to qualify for him. JT's also had a lap taken off him, so this one will not count for him. .154 kilometres is the race distance in a 50% Grand Prix, which we've got here for round number 10. And imagine over there is going to be a fair bit of sweating as Lord Lamb brings himself into the double left-hander of turns 9 and 10. Heavy braking zone through here. Very nice exit too, as he opens at the DRS on the run down towards turn 11. 7 victories have been taken from pole in Bahrain. Ferrari are the most successful team here with 6 victories to their name. Mercedes are just behind them with 5 themselves. They, of course, won the Bahrain Grand Prix earlier this year with Lewis Hamilton before an incredible drive from Sergio Perez stole the day for a week later. And across the line, Lord Lamb for P3, 1 minute 25.5, and this is needed for him. He needs a good qualifying performance and a good race result too, because he currently is in the middle of that drop zone, and if he is to stay in Division 1, he desperately needs to score well here in Bahrain. And we're still waiting for the arrival of Elian. And if Lord Lamb does score well, then that puts Elian back in the drop zone, and that relegates him. It's a possibility that we may still see 2 of our promotions from last season go straight back down to Division 2. Joe goes P10, 1 minute 26.5 from the Alfa Romeo driver. Also as well, Decinio was promoted from Division 2 last season, but he has left the league. There was, well, a huge bust-up, really, in the aftermath of the Austrian Grand Prix. A few incidents and several, as Vapor Canute's gone P4, by the way, 1 minute 25.6 from him. This would mean that he would finish 6 points behind Vapor Canute. Finish this way in the Grand Prix. Elian has now joined, there we go. And that would give Trench the championship. There's Carwin Robert on lap as well in the Haas, as Bazooka Joe, I believe, slows down to let him by. Yeah, and Decinio was then given a penalty for his part in one of the incidents, one of the many incidents that occurred in Austria last time, and he decided that was the final straw for him, and he league as a result. So that means we've got neither ladies with us here tonight. Neither one has made it to the end. Buttons back is relegated to Division 2. Mercedes looking for a new driver for season 7 at FPSL _2020 for the Discord link if you want to join Season 7. Please do, because if it's half as competitive as this season has been, it's going to be a hell of a year. Cohen Rob across the line. FPSL 1 minute 25.6 for him. Vapor Trench says he's nervous today. I don't blame you. I'm nervous, and I'm just commentating. I'm not even part of this. I feel nervous. So, yeah, I do not blame you. And at the moment, Vapor Trench in a pretty good position. 3.5 minutes after qualifying. Trench currently P2. Vapor Canute in P4 in the Ferrari. There have been 4 wins from second place here in Bahrain. That includes 2010. All these stats where they use the longer layout. It does not include the oval layout that they used a couple of weeks ago. Because it just doesn't count really, does it? I don't think. Maybe it does. Let me know. Maybe I'm completely wrong. Maybe it does. More importantly than my championship, will it be Canute? Will it be Trench? The 2 drivers battling it out season for supremacy. So let me know who you think is going to be our Season 6 champion come around 9:15 this evening. This will be, it promises to be a hell of a finale here in Sakhir. Most of our drivers in the pits. Vapor Trench has got on that lap, as a Vapor Canute, Cobalt, and Vapor Shea. Brown set a lap earlier, but he has since retired from the session. I don't actually know what caused that retirement. Whether it was a crash or whether he just, I don't know, just retired. Who knows? But anyway, he's P11. And you would expect that he'll fall to the bottom of the pile come the end of the session. Vapor King, we certainly know he's got the pace in the Haas to improve on his 128.5. Elian, Kasu, TDB we're still waiting for. Elian and Kasu need to set good laps. Because at the moment they are both under threat, shall we say, of going down. Elian particularly with Lord Lamb. I said particularly twice there, especially with Lord Lamb up in P3 at the moment in the McLaren. There he is, just making his way out of the pits now, and the Ferrari of Elian has begun a lap. But he's backed out of it just as quickly because he's weaving, trying to walk with the tyres, and he's just going to go again at the end of this run. JT's gone back out as well. Carwin Rob's retired for P7 for him, which I imagine will be toppled in the final minute of qualifying. Right then, here we go. This is going to be the most important run of the season so far. Vapor Trench brings his towards turn 1, runs slightly wide of the apex, but doesn't always cost you too much time as he flicks open the rear wing on the run through 3 in towards turn 4. Vapor Canute in the Ferrari has also begun a lap, the other competitor for the championship, as in towards turns 5 and 6 and 7, down the hill in towards the hairpin of turn 8 as he clips the apex and onto the exit. Back end trying to escape, but he does well to catch it. And in towards turns 9 and 10. Smooth run through there. Very nice on the exit too. As he opens up the rest. And Vapor Shea goes P2. 1 minute 25.3 from him. Pushes Trench down to 3rd place. As through turn 11 up the hill comes Trench. Can he take pole position here in the McLaren? It would unbelievably be his first pole of the season if he manages to pull that one off. But JT's out there as well. The checkered flag has fallen on qualifying in Bahrain as Vapor Canute goes P2. That's huge. That's massive for Vapor Canute. 2nd place at the moment for qualifying. What can Vapor Trench look at? He takes pole. 1 minute 24.8. What a lap that is from the McLaren. Brilliant stuff from Vapor Trench. He's up into P1. Now what can JT do? He can't go any quicker because he's invalidated his lap. What a brilliant finish to the session for Vapor Trench. He has taken pole. His first pole position of the season right at the end. And it's the most important pole of the season so far in the very, very last race. Brilliant lap from Vapor Trench. And has he just set himself up for success in Bahrain? Elian's qualified P10. Sam's out of the session, down in P11 for him. Kajodu for Alfa Romeo rounds the penultimate corner. There's traffic everywhere on the run down towards the final corner, but everybody getting out of Bazooka Joe's way as he rounds the final corner. Joe up towards the line in the Alfa Romeo, looking to out-qualify a teammate for the third time this season. Can't pull it off. He's behind Sam as TDB in the Renault goes P2. Brilliant lap from him. Pushes Vapor Canute down to P4, which is brilliant news for Vapor Trench, because that means that, as it stands, Vapor Trench would beat Canute by 13 points, and that would be enough for the championship. And Trench, well, he was so down on himself after the last race in Austria. He thought the championship was done. He was certain his hopes were over after he lost the championship lead. But all of a sudden it looks here as though the tide may well have turned. Vapor Trench is on pole. What a lap from Trench's first pole of Season 6, and what a time to get it. TDB in P2 alongside him. JT in third for Red Bull. Vapor Canute in P4 has some work to do. The Grand Prix. 5, Kodak 6. Vapor King qualifies 7th. Castro in 8th. And P9. Carwin Robb rounds out the top 10. Jack Prentice in P11. Elian in 12th for Ferrari. Needs to do better in the Grand Prix if he wants to give himself a better chance of survival. Sam in P13. Bazooka Joe in 14th. And Brown down in 15th place after his early retirement. Yeah, Matt says, what a lap from Trench. 24.8 is quick, and it is quick. And goodness me, did he save that pace for the right moment. What a time for your first pole of the season, and that was a clutch lap from Vapor Trench. Can he now turn that into a race victory and the championship in Season 6? Let me know. Can he do it? Can Vapor Canute pull it back? There's also a battle, I should mention, for third place in the Drivers' Championship as well, between TDB and Jack Prentice. There's only 3 points separating those two. As it stands, TDB is he's in second place on the grid, so it would easily be enough for him to take third in the Constructors, with Jack Prentice starting outside the top 10 in the AlphaTauri. But keep an eye on that one, because that could all change come the end of the race. And McLaren as well also trail Ferrari by 10 points in the Constructors' battle. That will also be decided along the drivers' title. There's a lot going on. The win, third Constructors' title, and of course the relegation battle as well, to see who's going to survive. So this will be an entertaining race, and there's going to be a lot going on. I'm going to have to get multiple calculators to try and decide who's won, who's gone down, who's survived. I might need some of you to let me know, but I can't really expect that of you. I'm supposed to know what I'm doing, and yeah, quite often I don't. But anyway, on the formation map here in Bahrain, get your predictions in, folks. I'm not going to dare to do that, because anything could happen. I think we could have made a prediction in lost qualifying, and every single one of the predictions would have been wrong. So, who knows what's going to happen, but what a Season 10 this is going to be. Vapor Canute wrapped up the championship with 3 races to go in Season 5 in the Red Bull. It's safe to say it's a little bit closer than that here. And, well, it's been set up perfectly with Vapor Trench on pole and Canute in P4. Remember, a victory will be enough for either driver. Doesn't matter where Canute finishes. If Vapor Trench wins the Grand Prix, he's got the championship in the bag, which will be of relief. He doesn't have to keep whirring through all the possibilities in his head, but it does. Still, then he's got some stiff competition, and he's got to bring that McLaren round the 29 laps. And to the checkered flag for the victory in Bahrain and championship success. So, will Canute be a two-time champion, or will it be 3 championships for that man, Vapor Trench, the Season 1 champion? Season 2 champion, hasn't won the championship since the second season. Is he about to do so here in Bahrain? We are about to find out as the drivers arrive to the grid. We're ready for lights out for 29, I would say, extraordinary laps in Sakhir. And who will win after all of that? Who will win the championship after all of that? Who will all that? I can't wait, and I'm sure none either. So we just wait for the last few drivers to make their way onto the grid. And we can make a start in Bahrain. After 10 weeks of scintillating action, the championship has come down to the last race. Who's going to win it? The Bahrain Grand Prix is underway. Really good start from second for TDB, and he's alongside Trent already. No, he's not. Trent gets a really good second phase. Now what about JT alongside TDB? Down the inside goes Vapor Canute as well. He's side by side with TDB too. Trent round the outside. TDB holds him off. Shades all in the race point. JT side by side with TDB. He's going to come top there. Carwin Robs with Vapor Canute. Oh, it gets very close between JT and Vapor King. I should say that's not Cohen Rob, and Vapor King stays in front of Vapor Canute. So Canute's lost a place off the start. Brilliant start from Vapor Trench. Round goes Canute. That's not going to work through there on King. Brilliant start from Vapor Trench. It's a dream start as he holds the lead, and Vapor Canute loses a place off the start here. So Vapor and Goba getting very close. He's going to lose a couple of places as a result there. Lamb's now got ahead of him in the McLaren. Down towards turn 11 they go. With Jack Prentice up to P8 off the start. Vapor Shay's fallen down to 9th. So a really disappointing start there for the Racing Point driver. But it's Vapor Shay in the McLaren who leads early doors here in Bahrain. There he is, half a second clear of TDB as we come towards the end of the open lap. And, well, what a start that is, Trench. It's, in every way, the start he was looking for as JT gets closer to TDB down towards 1. Says we're on lap 3. We're definitely on lap 2, so I don't know what's happened there, but through the first 3 corners we go. B is right. He's not let him go, that's for sure. Meanwhile, behind them, Vapor King and Vapor Canute are close together. Canute too. He needs to clear as quick as possible, because Vapor Trent is going to be very eager indeed to extend his gap out front. Canute knows that he's going to have some work to do, and he's fallen nearly a second behind Vapor King. So really bad start to this race for Canute in terms of the championship. And he needs a strong performance from here in the Grand Prix. There is Stretch. Climbs the hill up through turn 12 in towards the penultimate corner of 13. With the Renault chasing him close behind. Then the Red Bull of JT. And you can't count JT out for a second. One of the quickest drivers on the grid. Was very close to taking the second place off TDB on the opening lap. But TDB held him off. And now he's chased off the Trench, but Trench is just a little bit over the course of this lap. 1:59.6 on the McLaren driver. King still in front of, still just under a second separated. The lap meanwhile is right behind Koba. And Lord Alam, he's not worse performer, you know. He's not had terrible pace, but the results just haven't seemed to go his way. 3 points finishes in 9 races for him, 1 DNF as well in amongst all of that. But yeah, despite, by the looks of it, some pretty solid pace, he just hasn't been able to convert any of that into a meaningful result. But hopefully for him tonight, that'll change and he can start to propel himself up the order. He needs to as well, of course, being in the midst of the relegation battle. Right, TDB with DRS here on Trench. Trench's plan in the opening 3 laps would have certainly been to DRS back to TDB, but he's not been able to do that, and so he's going to come under a lot of pressure now. And Canute has fallen nearly 2 behind King, and he's actually falling, as you can see here, into the clutches of Cobalt. This is a dreadful start, isn't it, for Canute? In the champion side, looks here as though Canute, at the moment, is going to be letting go of his crowd as TDB rounds the DRS here on Trench, and it's going to be a good chance. Surely Trench knows it too, because he's gone defensive on the run down towards turn 1. JT with the fastest lap around the moment, 129.5. Here comes TDB on Vapor Trench. Does he go down the inside? No, he doesn't. It's better of it for the time being. Vapor Trench holds on to the lead, and at the minute, holding on to the championship as Lord of Lap has gotten past Cobalt. So the McLaren driver gets ahead of the Williams, but Cobalt here with DRS is going to try and come back at the McLaren down towards turn 4. Does he go for it? Yes, he does. That's very close to contact. It's quite a wide exit, so it's going to be side by side. No, it's not, because Lord of Lap gets a superb run, doesn't he, out of turn 4 and stays in front of the Williams. So a big move there. Oh, was that wide? Goes King, and Vapor Canute's got the position. It's an absolute gift for Vapor Canute. An early Christmas present that he would have been hoping and praying for after the first lap. But guess what? Vapor King has entered in P4 on a plate. And Canute try and chase after the top 3. As TDB continues to harry and press Trench. I think TDB's efforts here are more about escaping JT than they are on Vapor Trench, or at least equally so. Down towards the final corner again. It's all about who gets a good run on the exit of this final turn. If Vapor Trench can continue to do so, then he can continue to keep the Renault behind him. But here we go, less than half a second. It was around about this as well on the last lap. Vapor Trench once again takes the defensive line down towards turn 1. TDB closes up with the zip. He closes up behind them. And Vapor King has just gotten back past Canute. So, having given him the Christmas present, he says, whoops, that was the wrong one. I'm going to take it back again. And it was not more like a Hermes delivery from King when he let Canute pass, and he's taken that gift right back again. As Vapor Shea's been passed by Jack Prentice here. So, it's a bit of a kingdom action. Vapor Shea trying to regain the ground on the opening lap, and he's currently being shown a firm door by Jack Prentice. Says TDB's got ahead. TDB's got him. TDB passes Vapor Trench. Trench now down to second place. It doesn't matter too much because he is still on for the championship. As it stands, he will finish 8 points in front of Vapor Canute. That'll be enough to see him win the World Championship by 4 points tonight. So, not to worry too much for Vapor Trench. He has lost the lead, but he hasn't lost the championship advantage to Vapor Canute. However, you can probably put your house on the fact that JT is going to be very eager to take second place, because the longer the Red Bull's stuck behind the McLaren, the more the Renault is going to be able to eke back ahead. But having said that, Vapor Trench here is closing back up on TDB, and he's in the slipstream. He's getting closer and closer, and he's down the inside, and he's back ahead of the Renault into turn 1, and Vapor Trench has his lead back. So it's switch to positions, then a switch back. Oh, TDB loses the back end. Is that going to be a chance now for JT down towards turn 4? No, because if he goes down the inside, he's going to hit Vapor Trench, and he can't have that. And Vapor Canute's down to P6. This is a horrible evening for Vapor Canute. Oh, he's been passed as well, has he, by Cobalt. Cobalt's right there in the Williams. No, has to stay behind. But what is happening here to Canute? You may remember back to round 10. Oh, he's gone off. Vapor Canute's off the track in the Ferrari. He's lost out to Cobalt. He's going to lose out now to Jack Prentice. Yes, he does. Oh, dear, oh, dear. Vapor Canute's down to 8th place. This is a disaster for the Ferrari driver. And he's now down to 9th. Vapor Shea's passed him too. Oh, his front wing. He's broken his front wing. Oh dear, oh dear. Everything that could be going right now for Vapor Canute is going exactly. Carwin Rob gets Vapor Canute is also going to lose P10 to his teammate. Oh, what a moment this is as TDB's back because Trench is in the pits. Right, so he's had enough of his current set of soft tyres. He's into a set of now is Trench. I doubt that'll be enough to take him to the end of the Grand Prix. I think he will have to pit again, but it's a whole flurry of cars into the pits now. Cobalt, Carwin Rob, Vapor Shay, and of course Vapor Canute with his broken front wing is also in and down to 15th and last of the current runners. So, oh dear, what a nightmare that is for Vapor Canute. Brown's picked up a penalty meanwhile for exceeding the track limits, and TDB, as a result of all these pit stops, leads the Grand Prix. Meanwhile, further down, Kasu and Bazooka Joe going side by side. Kasu in the Red Bull getting ahead of the Alfa Romeo. Bazooka Joe came into this race safe by 4 points from relegation, so no matter what happens to him this evening, he is okay to stay up in Division 1. And even if he was slightly within the threshold, I very much doubt he would have gone down tonight anyway. So Kasu up to P8. Kasu is one of those in, let's say, moderate danger, but an 8th place finish will probably do for him in terms of staying up. So at the minute he's on for a positive result as far as Division 1 survival goes going into Season 7. Right, we've stayed out with these two, TDB and JT, both opting to go again as JT closes up on the run down towards turn 1, but TDB's braked nice and late and stays ahead of him for the time being. Vapor King and Lord Alam have both come into the pits for Haas and McLaren respectively, as off the softs and onto the medium goes Vapor King, and away he goes in the Haas car. Lord Alam following him, not a million miles behind. And as a result of the front wing change, Vapor Canute is still down in last place, and I'm not too sure he's going to get ahead of many drivers. Kasu's in the pits now for Red Bull, so he'll clear the Red Bull, but he won't clear anybody else, will he? In fact, where is Kasu? No, he is now behind him. Right, so Vapor Canute into P14. Oh, this race couldn't have gone worse so far for Vapor Canute. He came into this Bahrain Grand Prix 4 points clear of Vapor Trench. Oh, that's a spin for Bazooka Joe. He does so well to keep it. Goodness me, I thought for all the world he was going to fly into the barrier, but immaculate job of keeping hold of that Alfa Romeo, and in the end it was, what would you rate that? 7 out of 10 for execution. Not bad. But what it has done is it's given Trench a lot of breathing space. It's saved him the trouble of having to get past the Alfa Romeo on track, and instead he's able to just glide past him. And it's up now to P6 in this Grand Prix. Just the one retirement so far, that is Brown, and he's just been passed by Cobalt. Oh, and very wide goes Brown as well. He's taken a Mario Kart line off the track. What's he doing there? But that's allowed Lord Alam and Shay to now get past him as well. So I'm not sure exactly what Brown did there, but that's way outside the points. Trench passes that one, 29.5. He's flying in the McLaren. TDB into the pits now for Renault, and he rejoins in 7th place, just in front of the Haas of Vapor King. So important for him to clear the Haas driver as Vapor Canute sets the fastest lap, but well, you rather wonder as though even that, with 21 laps to go, is too little too late for the Ferrari man. But still a long way to go yet. We've seen crazier things happen. Of course, Vapor Trench, first of all, needs to get to the finish. If he's not able to do that, then Vapor Canute will have the championship no matter what happens. Right, what I was going to say before all that drama was think back to round 10 of Vietnam last season. Vapor Canute and Buttons Back had actually a reasonably healthy advantage going into that race for Red Bull in the Constructors' Championship. They were battling Mercedes. Vapor Trench were Constructors' title, and it was a horrible race for Red Bull. It went awfully wrong, and it gave Mercedes, with a 1-2, the Constructors' Championship. And It was a race that couldn't have gone more right. You found the perfect pair to compare it with. That's a lot of pairs. So it's going similarly here. Vapor Canoe out of the points. The difference was, of course, it didn't matter last season. It very much does matter now. JT's out on the hard tyres, so he's going to the end. I imagine TD Bazooka Joe are also going to the end on their sets of hard tyres. But Trench, as you can see, is on the medium, so he's going to stop again. But that will be interesting. So what Trench does here, essentially, is killer middle stint. And I mean, he needs a hell of a middle stint if he wants to win this race. Because JT and TDB are going to be very consistent. We know that. They always are. So Trench here, if he's going to win this Grand Prix, really needs to pull some very consistent pace out of the bag. To then have a chance of closing up to JT and TDB in the final stint of the Grand Prix. Bearing in mind, of course, that by the end, in the final few laps, those hard tyres are going to be pretty worn. And after pit stops, Jack is the race leader ahead of Elian and Sam. And then behind them, of course, is the net race leader, Vapor Trench. And how long before Jack Prentice brings his Alpha Tauri into the pits? Well, he's not going to do it just yet. And Vapor Trench is closing now on the Alfa Romeo of Sam. He was also stayed out. As a result, 8th place. Sam so into P2 and the Alfa Romeo. Got a fairly good run, and again he comes to the outside, but he's not going to be close enough for the move, I don't think. So he's going to go for it, isn't he? Tries to get the better exit. He's going to be side by side with him. He can't pull this off, can he? Elian, can he pull it off? Oh, nearly makes contact and nearly spins, and that's another gift for Vapor Trench. Elian there just went for far too much. Through 5, 6 and 7 was very lucky not to end up spinning and spearing off the barrier. But he's lost a further place as a result, and here comes Vapor Trench now, going down the inside on Sam. Well, the start of this middle stint couldn't have gone any better for Vapor Trench. He's been gifted 2 positions, now he's got past Sam as well into P2, and he's got 5.5 seconds of breathing space up to Jack Prentice, the Alpha Tauri. Probably wouldn't mind using this as a decent chance to come into the pits. Plays out again. So I imagine he'll go as long as he possibly can on these mediums and just hop onto a set of hards towards the end of the Grand Prix. Right, yeah. And having a look and back again as he goes around the outside of turn 1, but can't quite put it. Yeah, but this is he past Vapor and loses the back end but gets the move done. So he gets past the Haas driver with a little bit of drama. And Sam Nelly are at it again here. And Hellion once again tries his luck around the outside. He barely wants to have a little bit of a dance through that chicane, Sam. And well, Sam is obliging. He's giving him a good battle. And it's a really good little race between these for what is at the moment 3rd place, but it will turn and that lead to eventually better the pits. But with a very different strategy, you just wonder how far it points these two could get come the end of the Grand Prix. As Elian has it around the outside, Sam places the car very well indeed into 10 of them. Stays of TDB, meanwhile, is he's making some inroads, isn't he, on Elian in front. He is 12 seconds ahead of JT, who locks up again in the Red Bull. Lord Lamb and Bazooka Joe have been going wheel to wheel again. There they are, as Lord Lamb gets ahead of the Alfa Romeo, has DRS as well. He just wonder here if Bazooka Joe is to towards leaders down the inside was Cobalt, Vapor Shade. Joe still there. Oh, very close indeed. Surely now, as ahead of the Elliot goes quite wide. It's going to be a chance for Vapor Canute as he passes Shay and tries to get ahead of Joe as well, but can't quite pass him. Joe loses the place to Koba, but doesn't lose any further positions than that. As and well, you just wonder from here, is this going to be caution to the wind stuff from Canute as he goes down the end of Joe into P9? Because right now he's in pretty dire straits. He's down in P9 with his title rival Vapor Trench up in P2. So this is a real struggle here for Vapor Canute. In amongst all that, Pitts has Sam, and Sam's out of P14 in the upper because I believe he had to serve a penalty in the pit. So hard tyres for him. Yeah, Elian P6 after, well, he hasn't stopped yet, has he? So yeah, P6 for him. He's just been losing positions. I wonder if he actually made a mistake somewhere to allow a few drivers past him, because he was looking very racy indeed behind Sam. But he pits now, and yeah, so he's going to be behind Sam, and could be, yeah, I think he's going to be P14, isn't he? I'm going to say could be behind Brown as well, but I don't think Brown is quite going to catch him. So yeah, behind Sam there. So he definitely did. He definitely did make a mistake somewhere, Elian. Just put him behind, yeah, behind the Alfa Romeo of Sam. There is Brown, who just continues to fall further and further behind in the Alfa Tower. And at the minute, with Elian scoring well and Lord Lamb also scoring well, I just wonder if that could be Brown out of the title race. That Vapor Trench closes in on Jack Prentice. Let's just have a little look, shall we? Because Brown is 7 points above. He's 7 points above relegation. So yeah, Lord Lamb at the minute is on for 8 points. So right now, Lord Lamb is going to just about scrape into survival. And as it stands, Brown is going down to Division 2, down in P15. So more drama down at the bottom. Here comes Vapor Trench, takes the lead of the Bahrain Grand Prix. Prentice still is medium tyres of 14 laps old. Ferrari. Will this be a mediums? Well, and he'll be hoping. Jack Prentice locked well on his mediums. These mediums will take him to the end of the race. So they'll put him outside the points for now, but Vapor Trench has to pit again. Pit continues as it is. Vapor Trench won't have to really worry about that. So he's well and truly on for the title, is Trench, in a race that couldn't have gone any worse for Vapor Canute. Outside the points now in the Ferrari. And his defence of his title crown from Season 5 looks as though it's going to be decidedly unsuccessful here. Despite the 2 victories, 6 podiums, and 7 finishes in the points. But Trench with a magnificent season, finishing the points in every single race that he's started this season. And he's started all of them as well. As well as those 5 podiums, as I mentioned earlier. He's out-qualified Lord Lamb 9-0, which really is quite special, I have to say, from French. Well, how poetic if first was in the very last race for him to claim the world champion. Already pulled 3.5 seconds. This with TDB closing in on him as well. As into the pits comes the Alfa Romeo of Bazooka Joe. As he pulls up towards the pit lane. 1:30.2 is the lap record here in Bahrain. That was Michael Schumacher in 2004. The fastest lap ever was Lewis Hamilton this year, 127.2 in qualifying. 3 to take pole position as Bazooka Joe rejoins behind the Ferrari of Elian, who is also going on the hards. Bazooka Joe on mediums, so I just wonder if Elian doesn't feel as though the hards were able to excuse me, if Elians were able to end from here. Joe straight away gets a penalty for exceeding track limits. TDB is now clawed to the DRS range of Jack Prentice. Cobalt has just gotten past Lord Lamb, well, although Lord Lamb in. There's side by side. There's Vaporshade as well, trying to get around the outside of Cobalt. Very good racing between these three, and Vaporshade does it. Brilliant move to get past Cobalt. Optimistic stuff from the Racing Point driver. A wonderful three-way battle between all of these drivers as TDB switches to the inside of Jack Prentice, goes down the inside into turn 1 and is into second place in the Bahrain Grand Prix. Right behind them, what's happening here? As Cobalt tries to get back past Shade. End of those three for now, and oh, JT's off! JT's off the track. A rare mistake for the Red Bull driver. He's fallen behind Lord Lamb and Shay and Cobalt. And will that his efforts into Bahrain Grand Prix? A very uncharacteristic error from the Red Bull driver. He falls down to P7 as Elian and go side by side. Very, very close to contact between those two, and they're still going to be neck and neck on the run towards turn 4. As Bazooka Joe tries to go defensive, Elian tries to go to the outside. Can he try and cut back underneath him on the exit of turn 4? No. Bazooka Joe's got the drive, and oh, Vaporshade's out of the race, and who's that spinning? Lord Lamb as well. Lord Lamb spot. Two. Oh no, Vaporshade, Jack Prentice into the wall on the exit of turn 10. Lord Lamb's lost his front wing, and that mammoth battle between Vaporshade, Lord Lamb and Cobalt, well, always going to end in tears for someone, and it looks there as though Jack Prentice has ended up as an innocent bystander, really. What this has done here is it's allowed Jack Prentice to come into the pits and put on the fresh tyres to go to the end of the Grand Prix, and he is on the mediums again, which will mean he'll be quicker than TDB. He'll be just behind Vapor King. Excuse me, JT, I should say. So despite the spin, JT gets ahead, but you just wonder how much that spin would have taken under JT's tyres, and also how much slower he's now going to be than Vapor Trench, who's on a brand spanking new set of the median compound. So Jack Prentice and Vaporshade both after what must have been a 5-way incident between those two, Lord of Lamb and Cobalt. So yeah, what a shame, because that really was a great battle going on, and it's a shame it had to end in tears, but with how hard they were racing, like it was always going to, as here comes Trench round the outside of JT and up now into second place. So as soon as he lost the position, as you say, he regained it right back again. Now in second to make up the catch sheet. It doesn't really matter. This will be a ship. Vapor still in need of somewhat of a miracle here if he is to win the championship. As it stands now, if Vapor Trench were to finish second place, Canute would need to finish third place. He would need to regain 4 positions to catch up to JT. Oh, there's one of them, because off goes Sam. Sam spins in the Alfa Romeo, and it's another early Christmas present for Canute, as he now gets up to P6. So now 7 seconds to go to catch up to Kasu. And oh, and Sam's now going to get passed by the Haas of Carwin Rob. No, he's not. Carwin Rob has to stay behind. Being Kasu and Vapor King. In fact, they're not going side by side because Vapor King come into the. So there we go. The Haas is in the pit. So Kasu to P4. And Canute now is up to P5 in the Ferrari. Out comes King, and behind we've got Sam and. We got Sam. He's behind him. Excuse me. What am I saying? Bazooka Joe and Elian going side by first time this evening. And Bazooka Joe very nearly falls prey to the cutback on the exit of turn 4, but Elian has to stay behind him for the time being. Yeah, Sam is just in front of Vapor King, I was trying to say. Couldn't get my words out. Supposed to be a commentator, but I might not be that good at it. Very close to the back of Sam goes Vapor King, but he manages to avoid contact, and now he's side by side with the Alfa Romeo down towards turn 11 as well, as looks to get past the Alfa Romeo of Bazooka Joe. Both Alphas going side by side. They're still wheel to wheel, these two up the hill, and Bazooka Joe defends it. Oh, off goes Sam. What's happened to him? He spun again. Sam has spun at exactly the same place as he did before, and now he's down to P11. Oh dear, what a nightmare this is for Sam. He's spun once again, and Vapor Trench here is 10 seconds behind TDB. Can he make that time up? If he can't, you just wonder, don't you? Can Vapor Canute get up to P3? There could still be a safety car out there. So, once again, let me know in the comments, who is going to win this? Can Vapor Trench catch TDB and win this race? If not, can Vapor Canute get on the podium and win the championship? This is going to be a remarkable end to the Grand Prix. I can't wait for this. Incredible stuff. At the moment, as it stands, Vapor Trench is winning this. Safety car! Safety car's been deployed! Well, I didn't script that. I can promise you I did not script that. But Brown's retired for the Grand Prix, which all but guarantees his relegate. Although, oh no, it doesn't, you know. Sam's out as well. So I think Sam and Brown have made contact, because Sam had just spun. And Brown was already having a horrible race that it was. And I think it's just been completed by contact with Sam, which both of those are running. It's been a horrible evening for Sam and Brown. An end to season. They'll to forget as quickly as possible to Jack Prentice, because he was going for P3 in the Drivers' Championship. Very unlucky he was going to get it, because TDB is in the lead, but that retirement for him has put him out of contention now. Brown might still be safe. As I say, Lord Alam has to finish P6 or higher to secure safety in the FPSL for Season 7. And if he doesn't finish, if he finishes anywhere lower than P6, that is Lord Alam right back down to Division 2. So everyone's coming to the pits during all this. Carwin Rob in the Haas has gone up to the mediums. So I wonder why, because I believe the softs can go to the end. Everybody else seems to think so. But clearly Carwin Rob does not. Maybe he knows something we don't. Maybe he's just made a mistake. Maybe his team made a mistake. Who knows? But this has tightened everything up, hasn't it? Vapor Canute has come into the pits, and he's now P6. But of course, he will have some overtaking to do. So whilst this has brought everybody closer to Vapor Canute, it's also brought TDB closer to Vapor Trench. So Canute needs to kind of hope here that Vapor Trench doesn't take the lead off the safety car restart. You lose 18 seconds in the pits here in Bahrain, just out of interest. It's doesn't really matter, because all the pit stops are done now, but just in case you wanted to know, that's how much time you lose. You make about 56 gear changes in Sakhir around this 5.4 kilometer circuit, and the lap completed at 72% full throttle. That's round to start lap 22 we come. Lewis Hamilton and Sebastian Vettel tied on 4 race victories in Bahrain. Lewis Hamilton equalled that in the first of the 2 Bahrain races, when he won that one from pole position. And 5 wins from outside the front row here in Bahrain. 5 is also the number of winning constructors. Ferrari, Renault, Brawn, Red Bull, and of course, Mercedes. Matt says, what's the prediction? I asked you first. I don't know. I've learned not to predict anything, to be honest with you, so... Trench to win on the last lap, says Matt. Any further offers on that? Let me know. I guess I have to give you mine now, don't I, really? You give me your prediction. I think it's only fair. I'm gonna say Trench to win. He deserves it. He's at the pace, and then of course, as a result, to win the championship. But who knows? Drama could yet ensue in the final few laps of racing here in the season-ending Bahrain Grand Prix, and what an end to it we have in store here. Around about 213 kilometers per hour is the average speed around this track. And Ferrari, of course, having won this race actually multiple times in the 2000s, and of course in the 2010s. Mercedes Power's won it 4 times, not since 2013 with Sebastian Vettel's Red Bull has Renault Power won this Grand Prix. The last time Ferrari won it, of course, was 2018 with Sebastian Vettel. Would have won it last year, but the less said about that, better. Charles Leclerc is concerned. As far as Season 6 is concerned, well, we still have 7 laps left to go to determine who's going to win the championship, who's going to get relegated, and whether it'll be Ferrari or McLaren winning the constructors as TDB gets ready to go. Look at how much he's backing the pack up as JT and Carwin Rock getting very close. Oh, was that a bit naughty from TDB? That was pretty close as Trench goes defensive. Now JT's right behind him. And look at Cassett and Carwin Rob and Vapor Canute all getting very, very close. Lord of Lamb going down the other side of Alien in the background. And all of a sudden it's so close between everybody. Vapor Canute is still P6. He manages to avoid any chaos. Lord of Lamb's up to P7 behind him as Carwin Rob goes defensive to try and defend from Vapor Canute. Behind them, Lord of Lamb. Brilliant restart from him as here comes Canute side by side with Carwin Rob. Rob still on the inside and somehow there's no contact. Brilliant racing and Vapor Canute up to P5. Vapor Trench still behind as Alarm's up to P6. Would you believe it? He's past Carwin Rob. Aliens behind him. Bazooka Joe in P10. Vapor King now forced outside the points. So, there's drama everywhere because at the moment, Lord of Lamb is on for safety again as and Rob going side by side. So Rob's lost a handful of places, hasn't he, on the restart here? Not been a good restart for him in the slightest. And a good restart though for Vapor Canute, and he is 1.5 seconds behind Casu. And he's going to have to hope that Vapor Trench doesn't take the lead. But I'll tell you what, take the lead, I think it's exactly what Vapor Trench might just be about to do as he closes in on TDB in the slipstream. No, doesn't get close enough just yet. He'll also be hoping, Canute, that JT and Casu get ahead of him. But you have to remember as well that JT has a penalty to his name as Trench closes in on TDB. Trench could avoid all of that drama by just winning the race. That's what he knows. And Canute knows as well that he's got to get a bit of a shimmy on here if he wants to catch Casu. What's going to work against Canute is that Casu's going to get DRS on the next lap. And I just wonder if Canute will, because he is just second behind him still. But with 5 laps to go after this one, Canute he has to go for it, doesn't he? He doesn't have any time to hang about. He's 1.5 seconds. So once falling away from Vapor Canute, and it's playing right into the hands of Vapor Trench. So, yeah, Canute here really does need to get a move on. I know it's much easier said than done from here in the com box, but if he wants to win this championship, he's got Kasu more than he is right now. As TDB goes to enabled on this lap, not quite yet though. Look at the train down towards turn 1. Here comes Vapor Trench, not close enough to TDB. Is JT close enough? No, he's not. Neither is Kasu. And well, Vapor Canute closing the gap slightly to the 2 Red Bulls, but still not quite within that magic second that he needs to be. Trench still behind TDB, JT still behind him. Of course, it could be that, as I say, Canute still does Trench a favour and stays ahead as here comes Trench down to TDB, but not close enough for the move just yet. Oh, Cohen Rob had just left the session momentarily. Kasu over his teammate JT, and Vapor Canute is now within a second. So, I mean, what's the philosophy here? Because surely, as I say, Vapor Canute has to just gun it. He has to go for the move, and if it doesn't work, then so be it. As Kasu gets very close to JT. Kasu this season has out-qualified a teammate 3 times. He's out-raced a teammate twice. Looking to make that a 3rd time here in Bahrain. It's the 5th time this season that JT's out-qualified a teammate, but as I say, can Kasu free in terms of a Red Bull teammate in this campaign. As Vapor Trench is being passed here by JT. JT getting very close to the McLaren, side by side with the McLaren, and getting ahead of the McLaren down towards turn 1. But can Trench hold it? Can JT go around the outside? Trench defends it. Really important now for Vapor Trench. He has to hold his nerve. It's like Nico Rosberg in 2016. He's really got to keep it together here, Vapor Trench, as he defends again from JT. Vapor Canute still half a second behind Kasu. Can he single out the Red Bull ahead of Kasu? Can he make his way up towards the podium places, which he needs to be in if he wants to win this championship? Vapor Trench knows that if he can just get ahead of TDB, he is the champion of Season 6, but he then needs to not pick up any penalties. That's the other thing. Penalties could play a part. Kobart's got a penalty, Lord Lamb does not, which means Lord Lamb at the moment is safe to stay in Division 1 for Season 7. Brown, who is retired well, he's staring down the barrel, and there's nothing he can do about it. He is going to go down to Division 2 for Season 7, surely next season. Trench, 3/10 behind TDB as they once again hurtle down towards the final corner. Here comes Trench. Oh, down the inside. Oh, thought about it. Had a very good think, but that's now compromised exit, hasn't it? Out of the final corner. He's got the RS. He's closing up once again to TDB. JT getting closer in turn to the McLaren. Here comes Trench. Here comes JT. Oh, down the inside goes Trench. That's very close. He's made contact. Oh, no. He's... JT has lost part of his Red Bull. And you just wonder at the end of the Grand Prix, is that going to be a penalty for Vapor Trench as has gone past JT? As gone past, I should say, he's very close to JT. Oh, this is going to be immense stuff. 2 laps to go. Who on earth is going to win this Bahrain Grand Prix? Trench then still P2. Kasu P3, and in fact it was JT. It was JT that Canute got a Canute now. Right behind Kasu. Vapor Canute is 1 overtake from the championship. Kasu's getting closer to Vapor Trench. At the start of the Grand Prix, it was all falling apart for Vapor Canute. All of a sudden now, it's falling apart for Vapor Trench instead. He fell a second now behind TDB. Kasu is surely about to pass him on the run down towards turn 1. Here comes the Red Bull. Can he go around the outside? Can Trench defend it? Kasu's going to try. That is an outstanding move from the Red Bull driver. Up to P2 goes Kasu, and Vapor Trench's championship hopes are disintegrating in front of our very eyes. Oh, Vapor Canoe nearly spins. Oh my goodness, that was so close to lights out in the championship battle for Vapor Canoe. Oh no, his title hopes just flashed before his eyes. But here in Bahrain, Vapor Canoe, after the worst start to a Grand Prix I may have ever seen, is about to win the title. TDB's about to win. Kasu's about to get a podium for the second time this season in the Formula PlayStation League in Season 6. And after such a good start, he broke away off the start in Vapor Trench. And after such an awful start for Vapor Canoe, he's now right behind him. And Vapor Canoe is all set to retain his championship crown here in Season 6. Is there anything Trench can do about this? I don't think there is. I'm really not sure there is. Well, if he can get past Kasu, he's won it. He's won it all over again if he can do that. But can he? Can Canoe get past Trench? Trench needs to finish within 3 points here. Excuse me, Canoe needs to finish within three points of Trench. What Canoe cannot afford is for Trench to get back ahead of Kasu. If that happens, Trench has won. There is one overtake in this championship, and whoever makes it is going to win. If no one makes it, Canoe's won. Oh, look how close that gets on the exit of turn 8. This is so close. Vapor Canoe is right behind Vapor Trench. This is the most dramatic finish I have ever seen to a League Racing Championship. And it's all about to come to a head in the final few corners of the race. Vapor Canoe, at the moment, is set to take the title in the most dramatic fashion. Neither him or Trench are going to finish on the podium. Canoe will not care about that. There has been a curse on Vapor Trench winning a Grand Prix in Season 6, and it's happened right the way through. TDB, for the third time this season, wins a Grand Prix. Kasu second, Trench in third, Vapor Canoe fourth. He is the Season 6 World Champion. Vapor Canoe, right at the end, the safety car, saving his race, saving his championship. Heartbreak for Vapor Trench, glory for Vapor Canoe. I cannot believe it. Incredible. TDB wins his third race of the season. But sadly for him, not that many people are going to be paying attention to the podium. Kasu with his second podium of the season. But Vapor Trench on the podium for McLaren. It's a bittersweet podium, because having started on pole position, he once again fails to win the Grand Prix. TDB beating Kasu to it, and Vapor Canoe finishing 3 points behind Vapor Trench, takes the championship by 1 single point. That's how much was in it. Incredible. Lorna Lampe 5, JT down in 6th for Red Bull, King in 7th, Ellie in 8th, Cobalt 9th, Bazooka Joe takes the final point, Carwin Rob out of the points, and Sam Brown, Jack Prentice and Vapor Shea all failing to finish the season-ending Bahrain Grand Prix. Canoe on, I think it was the penultimate lap, so nearly speared into the wall. He did so well to catch it. That was nearly his championship over. But Vapor Trench, he took such a great pole position. He was leading so brilliantly. Vapor Canute made a terrible start to the Grand Prix. Safety car brought him back into it. And it's, in the end, with a fantastic end to the Grand Prix, bought him his second championship by 1 point. What a finish! What a season! See you next year for Season 7. Have a good Christmas. Vapor Canute certainly will. Good night.